Am I the asshole for going home after my in-laws excluded me from dinner at a restaurant? I, female 26, went on a family trip with my in-laws 2 weeks ago. Mother-in-law always thought that I am a bit ignorant and backwards, and that's just because I come from a lower class family compared to hers, and I have no etiquette. After we arrived at the hotel, they arranged to visit a fancy restaurant for dinner. My husband avoided telling me, and I learned it last minute after he had already gotten dressed. I asked where he was going, and he said he and his family were going out to eat, but I wasn't invited because his mom assumed that since I wouldn't be familiar with the food and how to eat it there at the restaurant, then it's better for me to stay in and eat at the hotel. I didn't argue, I just let him go. Then I packed and took the first flight home. He freaked out and called many times. And when he found out that I went home, he blew up and called me ridiculous and irrational to do this. Even said I acted in an ungrateful manner and embarrassed him in front of his family after he literally begged to have me go on the trip. We argued and he started giving me the silent treatment after he came home. Moreover, his family are indirectly criticizing me on Facebook about what I did. Did I overreact? Edit, he didn't even mention what type of food they ordered. Edit number 2, the family didn't plan on having me come along, but my husband, like he said, begged them to invite me. This isn't just with me. My brother-in-law's girlfriend wasn't invited as well. Edit 3, they paid for my expenses, so I didn't want to act like I'm being needy / or something. I think this is justified.
Yeah, I do too.
Am I the asshole for not being attracted to my husband and speaking to other men? This is not my story time. It's sending me an Instagram. Been married to my husband for 13 years now. That's so long. Did not have the most romantic relationship when we first started dating. He's a molecular scientist, which means he's very heady. There is not one single romantic bone in this man's body. Of course, he's always been kind and sweet and considerate. When we first started dating, we would go out on fun dates. Loved hiking, rafting, mountain biking. But when it came to romantic dates, he had no clue. I was the one that would ask him if he wanted to go to dinner. Made the first move when I kissed him. In fact, he didn't even kiss me back. During the first year of our relationship, he was very unaffectionate. I was always telling him how I wanted him to kiss me or hug me. He would just shy away. I clearly underestimated just how shy he was because of the fact that he never initiated anything. At first I thought that he might have been gay, but it was proven wrong when we had done it for the first time. I mean, he went through it and he was excited and it happened. Still, there was always a lack of affection. When we greeted each other, I would be the one to kiss him. He would just put his arm around me momentarily. I wanted to accept that this is just his personality, but I just couldn't. I wanted romance and passion. I just wasn't getting even a little bit of that from him. Not even with his words. He never gave me compliments the way that I did. I would compliment him all the time. If you're wondering if I was attracted to him then, I was. In fact, I was very attracted to him. I was definitely attracted to him physically, yes. He was in great shape at the time that we met, but I was also attracted to his mind. He was very determined and disciplined. He was also incredibly intelligent and wrote really well. For all of these reasons, I fell in love with him. He also did treat me well, although he wasn't as affectionate as I wanted him to be. But it just kept getting worse and worse. I would be the one to spend the night at his place all the time. He never offered to come over to my apartment, so eventually I moved in with him. This led to us fighting almost every single night because he never wanted to do it. I would ask him what was wrong and he would say nothing, I'm just tired. Or he gave me the classic answer of my head hurts. I couldn't believe it because I was definitely out of his league. I was the one that was constantly getting hit on. No matter where I went, I was always getting hit on. He knew this but didn't care. He also happens to not be jealous at all, which at first I did like this because it meant that we wouldn't have problems about him being controlling or not trusting me. But eventually I started thinking that it meant he didn't care if other men hit on me. Therefore, he didn't care if I talked to other guys or cheated on him. When I asked him one time if he would forgive me if I cheated, he said, yeah, of course. I also have many male friends and I would hang out with them all the time. And I know that this is probably stupid, but I wanted him to get jealous and he never did. He would say, go have fun, which at the end of the day, I know is a blessing to be with somebody who is not jealous because he gives you your freedom. But it made me feel like he just didn't care about me. That in combination with the fact that he barely ever touched me, it was really alarming. Finally threatened to break up with him after 3 years. I told him I wanted a man that was attracted to me, that loved me, that touched me, that kissed me, a man that does all the things he wants to do to his partner, in a loving way, of course. And to this, he just said, wow, that's really annoying that you have to bring that up right now. At the time, he was working on a thesis and doing a bunch of work stuff. I knew it was a very stressful time for him, but I wondered why he never wanted to be with me. I would think if you're stressed with work, you'd want to spend time with your partner and vent to them and be with them. But no, it was the opposite with him. He prioritized his job, which I understood. When he was working, he was always trying to be alone. Fast forward and we've been together 12 years. He still is kind and considerate and loving. He'll make me food, wash my clothes. I do plenty of things for him as well, but I'm the more romantic one. So I'm constantly trying to ask him if he wants to go out on a date. But the problem is I've lost all attraction to him. He doesn't prioritize his health anymore, so he's gained weight. Of course, I never want to make him feel bad, so it's not like I can tell him, hey, can you get back in shape? Recently, I started hanging out with old friends, and this led me to seeing older friends. 2 of them being men that I knew were attracted to me back in the day. One of them didn't realize I was married and asked me out on a date. I was so tempted to say yes, but I did give him my number. He's been texting me and it's been exciting. He voices how attractive he thinks I am. And yes, he knows that I'm married, but it's still just fun. I want to experience some sort of passion. I want to be held and loved. I want to be desired. Is that so bad? I told my husband that I needed more from him, i.e. passion, and he basically told me that wasn't in the cards with us. That we're at a point in our relationship where we're a married couple, and that married couples don't have passion in their relationships. Therefore, I should just get used to it. Another old friend started texting me and I've been texting him consistently. And it makes me feel good to be desired by these guys. I don't feel guilty at all. Should I stop talking to them or should I divorce my husband? What should I do?
Am I wrong for snapping at my sister-in-law after she kept insulting my husband? I have a sister-in-law, Allison, who's married to my brother, Harvey, and I'll be honest, I don't like Allison. She is the most negative, bitter person that I've ever had to spend more than an hour with. She has a negative opinion about everything, but notably my husband. I do try to brush it off, but we're all at my parents' for Christmas and her comments have been constant. She hates that me or my husband refer to him looking after our daughter as babysitting, an unpopular opinion nowadays, but I don't mind it. I'll say he's at golf, so I'm babysitting, and he'll say she's going to dinner, so I'm babysitting, but Allison is only upset when my husband says it. Then she needles him by asking pointed questions that she thinks any mother would know, and then gets smug when he doesn't know the answer. And every time I do things with my daughter, she makes comments about me being a married single parent. I have told her so many times to stop and even asked Harvey, but nothing works. And my husband and I have an agreement that we don't fight with the other side of the family. Am I wrong for snapping at my sister-in-law after she kept insulting my husband? 2 days ago, we're all in the living room with the exception of my husband who was finishing up some work. Allison remarked that she hasn't seen him all day and it was really rude that he wasn't putting in more effort, to spend time with his daughter or the family. I sternly told her that my husband is working to provide for his family and that not everybody can just take works off at a time. For context, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and that's when Allison said, "Of course you'd say that, you're basically paid to be his bang nanny." I cannot remember the last time I was so enraged, and before I could even process my own thoughts, I said, "Yeah, and you get cheated on for free, so tell me who got the better deal." For context, everybody knows Harvey's indiscretions, but I guess Allison didn't know that we were aware. She went completely silent, then left the table. It's been 2 days and she hasn't said a word to me, barely to anyone else. Harvey's mad at me, but my dad said she effed around and found out, period. But my mom does feel bad.
Be kind to yourself, but also be yourself because you're the only you that there is. So you've got to invest in yourself and back yourself.
Totally. I feel like growing up, I spent so much time trying to fit in with what I thought was cool or popular that I literally ruined friendships and grew to hate myself at some points because I was like, this is not making me happy, pretending to be one of the popular girls just so that they might like me and have that social validation.
Yeah. And the validation thing is a massive one. I think kind of underpinning this is you are enough as you are. You're not too much. You don't have to dim yourself and your personality to make other people feel comfortable. Just be yourself and let your unique energy shine through. And the people who are going to be drawn to that and like that and vibe with that will find their way to you and you'll find your way to them. And you'll be so happy that you were authentic because you'll be surrounded by people who reflect the exact same values as you.
Am I wrong for not showing up to my sister's wedding and calling her ungrateful? My 29 male sister, Ashley 27 female, just had her wedding yesterday, but I didn't attend. 2 years or so ago, when she was going through medical depression and required treatment, I helped her a lot. She didn't have the money and I was the one who paid for everything. None of the other family helped and neither did her friends. In total, I probably spent around $15,000 to $20,000 for her treatment. Much later, when she had gotten out of her issues, I once urgently required some money. So I asked her and she refused by saying she can't help and don't bother her again. Mind you, it was $600. And I knew she had the money because she'd recently got a job that was high enough and she would have been able to pay me. I was shocked considering how much I spent for her, and she continued to refuse, and I even asked whether she'd forgotten what I'd done for her. That's when Ashley asked me how can I say that I cured her when it was the medicine that worked and that I wasn't the doctor.